What's going on, people? We haven't been in New Orleans like a year and some change, so tonight that's where we're heading. Now let's get into it. Now in the streets, you're either a good earner or a hitter. It's very rare that you'll see both. Growing up in the streets, Meatball had to find what he was good at, and trapping wasn't his thing. See, a lot of people don't understand that all drug dealers ain't making money, and all strippers ain't making money. Everyone can't be out poor Rayful. Shit, someone will tell you in a hurry to go get some money, like it's that easy. Getting money is the hardest thing ever. Soon as you need it, you can't get it. You get it, you can't enjoy it. Glenn Metz was a serious man from uptown New Orleans and grew a ruthless reputation. Reaching Kingpin status, he had to let the whole city know that he was willing to take it to extreme measures to keep that crown. He needed some ruthless men around him that's willing to follow him into the fire. He knew he had to get Meatball on his team. With Metz being a dangerous man himself, he knew both of them together would be an unstoppable force. Metz had a solid position for him, and he stressed that Meatball would keep far away from the money and product. With Metz knowing his type, the type to stick up everything moving, I wouldn't blame him at all. He didn't share any information about business deals, he just kept him around for the dirty work. Back in the 1960s, men from the Italian mafia used to dress up as women to get close to their targets. They would dress in wigs and dresses. My favorite mobster, Carmine Persico, used to do this while going to war with the Gallos. It's the art of war. Now, there's one more reason why a man would be caught in the dress, and I highly doubt Meatball was one of those. See, a successful hitman shouldn't be seen at all. Your target should never see it coming. A shootout only occurs when you miss your target. A quick headshot or two is an easy day of work. That's the reason why he's willing to go as far as putting on the dress and the wig. Yes, there were plenty of hitters in New Orleans, don't get me wrong, but there's a reason why they're not as talked about as much as Meatball. Glenn Metz had some serious men. He had men operating in numerous project homes. It was nothing to get the drop on men because he had eyes and ears everywhere. So when a name is pulled out of a hat, it wasn't hard for Meatball to get the job done. He would refer to his victims as money. Someone would see him waiting outside a spot and ask him, "What you doing out here?" He would say, "Well, my money is in there." He loved a nice spring day when a dice game would break out. That was his early bread and butter. He would tell kids that that's a game you don't want to learn. Guys would be out hustling all day. He would just rob them without a gun. They would just give it up. You know how serious you gotta be to rob someone without having to show a gun? That's just like a well-known cop walking into a police station without having to show a badge, because they know. Well, when it came to Meatball, they knew. The workers would tell whoever they was peddling for about the laws, and they would seem to have a clear understanding when they found out it was Meatball. You had hustlers putting money to the side for him. It was that real. And it said that he once got a call that his money was on the corner of one street. He got out of bed and went out to rock this dude in his pajamas. Meatball was just something serious, man. He was serious about his business. Now, these were definitely some scary dudes. They would ride around in an all-black bulletproof truck that said homicide across the hood and villain in black on the side. When guys saw that truck, they knew what time it was. Now, you might say, members only, wouldn't that be kind of hot? Well, the damn thing didn't even have a license plate on it. Imagine if you was a beat cop and saw a bulletproof truck riding around, bombed out with no license plate, and homicide written across the hood. Do you really got the time for that? Pressing that situation is nothing less than a shootout. You really had some cops that would just look the other way. That's real shit. But Meatball was very chill, laid back, and soft-spoken. He was always aware of his surroundings and paid close attention to detail. When other guys would get loud with him, he would just look at them and smile. He came off as very unpredictable, and you never knew what he was thinking, as he would just stare off into space with a grin. Now, it's been said that the only time you'll get an explosive reaction out of him is during the drill. He would become very vocal, as he would say things like, "This is a robbery, don't make it a murder." During robberies, he would tell guys, "If you knew about the game, you will get out tonight." He would also say things like, "Drop it like it's hot." He would have some other bone-chilling catchphrases. He once wet someone in broad daylight and looked at the kids like, "Y'all want some of this too?" He was just very vicious. Now, as his reputation grew all over New Orleans, the police would even warn guys like, "Meatball out here, so y'all better be careful tonight." Hearing that doesn't give you any hope at all, as police officers can't protect many men from him. Now, the murder truck isn't the only set of wheels he used for hits. He would also use a regular ice cream truck to get around. The squad would hop out of U-Haul trucks on enemies for the simple fact the lookouts wouldn't even expect such a thing. Dudes would come out and check under their cars because he would patiently lay under them and hide in dumpsters. The men in his crew wasn't having it, as Meatball would wait with the rats and everything. And the main reason he would go that far is because he knew the city was full of hitters, so he wanted to be the go-to guy for the job. Sounds like a nightmare, right? Okay, well, let me tell you one thing. Many dudes lost lots of sleep to this man. Yes, he kept killers up all night. You knew he was coming, but didn't know when. They knew that time was ticking. His enemies felt as they were being watched and stalked. He also had many nightmares himself on his victims, hearing his victims scream, dreaming about his victims coming back to hunt him. A lot of people talk about the murder game, but don't understand what comes with it. It hunts you the most in that jail cell, where you actually have time to think, where you don't have anywhere to be, you don't have a bill to pay. You don't really have much to take your mind away from it. When you're free, moving in the fast lane, you don't really have time to stop and think about what you just did. But no, he didn't have 70 confirmed kills. Like I see a lot of people saying that he has 70 bodies. Man, no, it's guys that fought in the war that didn't even have anywhere close to that number. 70 bodies is just for clicks and views. But in New Orleans in the 80s and 90s, everyone was a trigger man. The police was highly feared with the 70% corruption. But the fear everyone was talking about was the fear of coming outside not knowing if he was waiting inside a tree or under a car. The fear was that murder van creeping up around at night. Guys would leave the bar seeing that truck just sitting there with the lights off, running, not knowing whose the wreck is for. But most of the organization was taken down and he was a wanted man for a while, but the cops were just too scared to get to him. His file just kept getting pushed to the back of the pile. Meatball ended up fleeing to Seattle. He laid very low until he finally got caught as a dishwasher. Now, that was a nice try, but there's no way they was gonna let him get away with his part in crime. He was better off leaving the country, but his biggest mistake was still tapping in with people from his hometown. Now, someone definitely gave up the drop. You know how these snitches be, man. They give up the drop for less time. And he was caught and he was taken away. And he might not even see another day. He won't be able to smell the roses. He won't be able to feel that sun on his skin. He's done, man. And we don't glorify none of this. It's just telling stories. I'm just telling y'all what was going on back in the day, man. So stop saying I'm glorifying this, man. I'm telling the story. But anyway, man, that's it for tonight. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure y'all comment, like, and subscribe for more content. I'm out. Y'all have a good weekend. Y'all be safe.